Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bear With Me, where we talk to you about bears, and more. So, hello everyone to the 56th episode of Bear With Me. Now, today we have a special guest on the podcast, which is bear expert and wildlife conservator Hunter Smith. Now, he has been working in the Wisconsin area, famed for its brown bears and nature reserves, for about, can you explain how many years?
About 20 years.
20 years. So he is an expert in talking about bears. So, Mr. Hunter, we have a lot of things to talk about today, so I'm going to be quite brief. So, first, I want to talk a bit about black bears. Like, I know Wisconsin is mainly famed for its brown and grizzly bears, but I've heard that there are occasionally some black bears that wind up upstate. So, I want to talk about black bears and how many people, when they think of black bears, they think of this big, towering giant that wants to kill you, that wants to eat your guts for breakfast. But in reality, from what I've heard, black bears are actually one of the least aggressive bears. Now, could you tell me where that stigma or stereotype of black bears being generally aggressive is from? Could you explain?
Well, I guess just the color black is more threatening color than brown.
Yep.
Black bears really aren't that dangerous at all. It's just, if you really get to know a black bear, it's really quite friendly.
Really? So do you have some black bears at your conservatory?
Yes, we do. We've got 3.
3 black bears. All right, that's quite interesting. So what you're mainly trying to say is it's mainly the stigma of black being usually associated with bad and evil, which we know is untrue in many respects.
Well, honestly, with black bears, they're only really aggressive when they're threatened or you try and attack their kids and stuff, and then they'll go psycho and stuff like that. But they're usually really mellow. They just take some time to if you take some time to kind of connect with them, they're good.
So, that's quite interesting. Now, let's flip the switch a little bit. Let's talk about grizzly and brown bears. They are, in fact, considered quite cute. And, they consider, for example, teddy bears. Those little bears? I don't know what type of bear is Pooh Bear, but we'll go back to that later. Winnie the Pooh?
Oh, Winnie the Pooh?
Yep.
Yeah,
but let's say, why are grizzly bears so aggressive, yet they are considered so cute?
With grizzly bears, I think they're the most famous because they're just the largest. And I don't know where you got the idea that they everyone thinks they're cute, but I think they're also the most famous because there's the most amount of attack stories. So yeah, a lot of documentaries about grizzly bear attacks and what to do. The saying is, if it's brown, lay down, and if it's black, fight back. So yeah, honestly, just follow that rule, and there's a high % chance of surviving. Grizzly bears are known to be more aggressive, and I have experienced in my bear hunting trips where a grizzly bear would honestly track us down like prey and attack our campsite.
Is it because they have more fur, they appear more fluffy?
Their outward appearance is more friendly to lure predators.
See, it's sort of that cutesy feel that they get in comparison to black bears, which have less protruding hair.
Yeah.
So, but another question I want to ask is what differs in aggression levels? Why are some bears in some states more aggressive? For example, why are black bears less aggressive than grizzly bears? What determines how aggressive a bear should be by evolution? Do you know this?
Well, it really just depends on what food they're trying to get. Black bears typically go for less, not as big food. They don't hunt down their prey.
All right, I see. That is quite interesting. Now, I also want to talk about the fact that, in terms of aggressiveness, which gender is the most aggressive gender? Like, are females typically more aggressive, or are male bears typically more
Well,
aggressive?
if we're speaking about bears, then females.
Females. Could you elaborate on that? Why so? Is it because
Well-
they're protecting their young?
Yes. After they give birth, the male bear leaves. So the female bear is just up to them to protect their young.
Oh, I see. So another thing I want to talk about is just that, so we know that during pregnancy and while rearing cubs, females are generally far more aggressive, since they, of course, Miss Wallace, she said that since we have, apologies, it appears that we had a brief interruption by the administrator of this podcast. But anyways, what were we talking about again? Yeah, that brown bears. Why are brown bears considered to be generally females? Apologies, sorry, the administrator got me sort of sidetracked. But why do females still retain their aggressiveness even when they're not rearing cubs or if they're pregnant?
Well, they're still aggressive, it's just to a lesser extent. It's just the way they're born, the way they're evolved, I guess.
I see. All right, that's quite interesting. So it's just evolution, their intrinsic aggression levels. Now, segueing from the segueing from aggression, I would like to talk about bear survival.
Personally, I think the best gun to kill a bear isn't one that sprays a lot of bullets or anything. I think it's one that packs a punch, like a single shot rifle or something. One of them. Hunting rifle or something like that. That'll get it down in the dumps, just, knocked out, really. Because the force of those bullets with those one-shot big guns could really take out anything, to be honest. So a bear, it sends it out immediately. In my experience of bear hunting, so.
That I know you're generally against the killing of bears, especially for poaching. Who isn't, right?
Yeah.
Like, in this day and age, poaching is terrible thing. But I know that you do condone self-defense against bears. So let's say if I was hiking in the Alaskan wilderness and I came across a grizzly bear, vicious, territorial, wants to kill me, really tear me up. What gun do you think is best? What gun should I take with me? A revolver, a lever-action rifle, a
Probably
On the other hand,
semi-automatic?
though, you may want, something easily move aroundable, like a pistol or something, little revolver or handgun, just something you can whip out easily and back the bear off. A lot of the time, the bullets from those kind of guns don't even kill the bear. Sometimes they barely notice it, but it'll send it backing off for you to get a chance to escape. Because in my 30 years of bear experience, really, if a bear attacks, you're not concerned in killing it. You're concerned in surviving, whether it be with a few limbs lost or not. So, I think the choice of gun can go either way, but I wouldn't really meet in the middle or something. So I think, either like a little gun that you can easily move around, or the other one.
I mean, depends what kind of camping you're doing. If you're just going on a holiday, just bring a revolver, it'll be easy. Maybe the Glock 20 or the 4.450 Marlin.
The .450 Marlin.
Yeah.
So is it a lever action, a bolt action? What type of rifle is that?
It's a lever action.
Lever action. So quite easy to Shoot,
Yeah.
I don't know that much
Yeah.
about guns myself. I'm sure you're the expert here. You go buck hunting, right?
Yes.
Bucks, yeah. I'd like to go sometime, but the wife, kids,
Yeah.
always
I
so
get it.
busy.
Yeah.
So now let's go on to polar bears. We have to wrap this up quickly, so let's be a bit fast. So polar bears. What makes polar bears the most aggressive out of every single bear?
Well, in the Arctic and Antarctic, there's not much food. It's just snow, so they have to be.
I concur.
Yeah, yeah. So they have to be. It's harder for them to get their food. And their food can also swim as well, so they have to chase it down.
So they're looking for every ounce of food they can get. They don't care
Yeah.
where they get it from. And I
Exactly.
also, on a last side note, I want to talk about polar bears cannibalizing their cubs.
Well,
Doesn't that go against the intrinsic maternal instinct?
Well, sometimes it's just emptiness out there. I'm not gonna lie. I've been camping there once. There's there's nothing.
The Arctic.
In the
Wow.
Arctic, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so sometimes it just comes down to that. They have to eat their youth.
Okay.
There's nothing else to do.
Now, on that slightly somber note, we will be ending today. Thank you, Hunter,
Thank you.
for attending this podcast, and I hope you can make an appearance again someday, and maybe even take me out buck hunting. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next time for episode 57 of Bear With Me. Thank you, and have a good night.